Well, hey everybody, and welcome to this midweek review with Mr. John. If you've been with us for about the past 3 weeks, we have been talking about help. That's about the best way to say it. Sometimes we need help, sometimes we give help, and sometimes we receive help even when we don't even know we're receiving it. Like in the case of Moses when he was a baby and he was put into the basket and pushed off into the Nile to save his life, to save him from being actually thrown into the Nile to drown by the Pharaoh at the time. Well, we know that God intervened with his great plan of using Moses by floating him down to the river to the Pharaoh's daughter, where the Pharaoh's daughter meets Miriam, Moses' sister. The sister asked the Pharaoh's daughter if she needs somebody to watch the baby, and then they get Moses' mom to actually be kind of the nanny for Moses, and whoa, what help is that? It is awesome that God just intervened in this plan, and he helped Moses, Moses' mom, Moses' sister, everyone all the Israelites in this one action, and nobody really kind of knew who was helping. And then we saw a couple weeks ago where Moses was on the Mount Sinai at the burning bush, and he had total doubts. He couldn't think that with his speech impediment and how he was an ex-prince of Egypt, cast out, could actually even be the person that could go to Pharaoh and get the Israelites free, to get God's people out of Egypt. But God sits there and reassures Moses that he is with him all the way. Well, then we came to last week and we saw something Pharaoh and his hardened heart. But we also saw Moses in this with God giving the plagues to Egypt. Now, it sounds like a bad thing, but to soften Pharaoh's heart enough to let God's people go, he had to put these plagues in place. And he helped the Israelites get free. Well, this week we're going to talk about help in a different way. What if you really need help? How do we go about it? We see in our story the Israelites kind of do it in a very negative way. When they're released, we know that they go to the Red Sea and they've got the Red Sea behind them. Water, it's the sea and it's full of water and they got it behind them. And over here they've got desert. Over here they've got mountains, and straight ahead of them they've got Pharaoh's chariots who he sent because his heart re-hardened and he wants to get the Israelites back, or he just flat out wants to kill them. So he sends his chariot army out to go get the Israelites, and they're right there. Well, the Israelites look at Moses and they get angry. Moses, how can you bring us here to our death? You just brought us here. We're trapped. Desert over here, mountains over there, chariots over there, and the sea behind us. We got nowhere to go. The chariots are going to come. They're going to run us down. They're going to kill us. Man, why did we leave Egypt? You brought us here to die. We were better off in Egypt. Now, can you believe they were actually saying these things? They cried out to God for 400 years, and God had to hear them complain and whine about being slaves, right? We all would do that, right? God comes and intervenes and helps and throws 10 plagues at Egypt, gets them free, and now they're at the brink of panic. Moses goes to God. God, hey, what am I supposed to do here? We're trapped. Well, God answers his prayer. First off, he sends a pillar of fire, comes down, blocking the chariots where they can't pass. And he tells Moses, you're going to stand up here, you're going to wave out your arms, put out the staff, spread out your arms, and I'm going to do something miraculous. And we all know the story. The sea parts, and the Israelites or allowed to pass through. Now, here's the thing you got to think about. When he parts the sea, have you ever been on like the beach or something and water rolls up on the sand and then you go and step on the sand? It's usually great sandcastle making stuff because it's wet and it's damp and you can make sandcastles out of it. But this sand, when the seas parted, it wasn't like that. It was bone dry. And the Israelites were able to cross with all their stuff, their caravan of 1 million plus people, to get across the Red Sea without sinking in one step, to go on firm, solid ground all the way across the Red Sea. And after they get on the other side, the pillar of fire lifts and the chariots take off. Now here's some wild, crazy stuff that God does. When the chariots get out into the Red Sea and the water's up above them on both sides, their chariot wheels start to get stuck in mud. Can you believe that? And not only does that happen, the sea comes crashing down and engulfs the entire chariot army, killing all the Egyptian army, letting the Israelites go free. Well, you think the story would be ending there and it's all great and oh, everybody's happy? 3 days or a couple of days later, they're walking in the desert and they're not so happy. Moses, it's hot. Moses, we're thirsty and hungry. What are we going to do? Moses does what he should do. He takes it to God. God, you brought us out here. We're in the middle of the desert. What do? There's nothing to drink around here. Well, one time they get to a pool of water and the water's bad. They can't drink it. He goes to God and God tells him, hey, take a tree, stick it in the water and the water will be purified and you'll have water to drink. They do that and everybody's got water. He tells Moses another time to go and tap a rock and basically a gusher of water will come out and does that. But that doesn't solve the hunger thing. It doesn't solve the problem. Moses goes to God and says, hey, God, we're hungry. Hey, they're complaining, they're whining, they're grumbling, they're growling. Literally, their stomachs are growling and we need food. What do we do? And God tells Moses that he is going to send manna from the sky. He gives them rules on how they're supposed to collect the manna and eat it and everything like that. But God provides bread, comes out of the sky like rain to feed his people. And at night when they needed meat, he sent quail. God was there to help them all along the way. Now, we get in those situations where sometimes we can doubt that God's there. Maybe you're running and you trip and fall and you scrape your elbows and knees up real bad and you go, man, I prayed to God that I would win the race and I fell down and I scraped my hands, arms, and knees. And sometimes we can grumble and growl and blame. But know this, God is with you all the time. Even in the good times, even in the bad times. That we're going to have bad times. All of us have bad times at times. But God is with us. Always. God is here to help us. Hey, verse is coming up. See you next time. I hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace out. Love you. Our memory verse is, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Psalms 121:2.